everybody on YouTube, I'm Owen H. Welcome to What's It Worth. It says Jurassic World is finally out in theaters. Sadly, I'm not going to be able to see it this weekend because of, alterations to my plan. But that gives me enough time to cover the other two Jurassic World films, which is exactly what I'm going to touch upon today. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. When Isla Nublar's dormant volcano becomes active, threatening to ignite an extinction-level event, Claire and Owen join an elite team to rescue as many dinosaurs as they can. But not everything as it seems, as they discover the hidden motives of a greedy orchestrator hell-bent on selling these creatures on the black market, including their newest secret creation, the Indoraptor. And yes, I actually did see this movie in theaters, and I will say in full confidence, I really enjoy this film. I actually like this film over Jurassic World. It was more intense, it was scary. It actually was the first Jurassic Park I've seen in a long time that actually made me jump. Jurassic World didn't do that for me, and I was like, ugh. So I'm glad they leaned away from it being slightly kiddie-friendly. The dinosaurs were a bit more realistic. The visual effects was much better in this film. Yes, they're hyper-detailed, but they blended in with the environment and they look like they're with the cast. Glad they actually fixed it in this film. And they have actual practical dinosaurs in this film. Not much. So this is the one Jurassic World where Colin Trevorrow isn't in the director's chair, but J.A. Bayona takes over. But I felt his take on this Jurassic Park film was a lot better. The movie was intense from start to finish. Of course, they bring back Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard to reprise their roles as Owen and Claire. Like I said, I like how they're written in this film a little bit more, especially with Owen. Film after Jurassic World, he kind of went his own separate ways, and he kind of lives in a self-imposed exile that tries not to give two shits about the dinosaurs. It was like he's basically walking away from his problems, but of course he's forced to come back, which I did like. I like the idea they were trying to expand his character a little more, but they're transitioning him from smartass to being almost kind of serious in a way. Bryce Dallas Howard did kind of like how she goes from being a little snarky to eventually feels responsible, and how she constantly blames herself for what happened in Jurassic World. Plus, I love how this film establishes that they haven't remade Jurassic Park, but rather they're continuing it, especially when they brought back Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm. I was like, yes! I was like, oh, this is awesome. Just seeing him back was just like... And when they brought Malcolm back, that's when I went, oh, I see where this is going. They're slowly bringing the original actors back, almost like they're trying to build up the Jurassic Park 4 that the fans have always wanted, but they're doing it slowly. I also love the other ensembles they bring in, where they were no longer cookie cut. Perfect example, Rafe Spall playing as Mills, in which I've known that guy in so many movies, like Prometheus, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, of course the horror film The Ritual, really good. I also love how they bring in James Cromwell, who I've known in Star Trek First Contact, so in The Green Mile. I mean, that guy, he did a pretty good job, and it was kind of nice to see him back in movies again, because I haven't really seen him in much else except for American Horror Story. Not a fan. And another actor that I haven't seen him in so long, and it really surprised me when I saw him back, was Ted Levin. Yes, Buffalo Bill of Silence of the Lambs. The last movie I saw him in was Evolution. I haven't seen that guy since, but seeing him back in this film, I didn't even recognize him until I saw his name in the credits. Of course, B.D. Wong reprises his role as a really, really shady Dr. Henry Wu. And of course, we can't forget the short role of Toby Jones as this rich auctioneer that Mills brings in, and then the guy brings in all his buyers as he auctions off each dinosaur to whoever sells them for the highest bidder, until he gets eaten, which is hilarious, which I'm surprised his toupee never flies off. I also love the characters of Zia and Franklin.
Planes are the safest way to travel.
You call this a plane? My cousin had a drone bigger than this.
Franklin, I've talked about his later project, which was The Quarry. It was like, when I first saw this kid and how he was just kind of dumped off to, you know, help out Claire, the first thing that came into mind is this kid one of Malcolm's kids?
We're not compatible.
And of course, what I love about this is that kid's scream. And of course, there's Zia, who, after seeing this movie, she kind of became like my top favorite character in this film. I mean, she was tough, she was smart, and she's really good at comebacks. And she insults people in ways that I'm like, that's my kind of girl. And of course, we can't forget Maisie Lockwood. This girl did an amazing job playing as this character whose life is turned completely upside down. So this girl, she's James Cromwell's granddaughter. And he makes it a point in the film to not show her a picture of her mother who died in a car crash. And it was like they were building up some kind of a twist. And then when Mills murders Lockwood, she finds out he's dead, she takes the book, and the minute she pulls out the picture of her mother when she was looking at a mirror image of herself, I went, oh shit, I can see where this is going.
What do you think drove Hammond and Lockwood apart? Huh? Lockwood never had a grandchild. He just wanted his daughter back. And he had the technology. He created another. He made her again.
I mean, some people weren't crazy about that twist. I actually didn't mind it. Now, like Jurassic World, Legendary Pictures could never seem to resist the urge to just brainstorm a whole different monster. That's when they bring in the Indoraptor, basically a scaled-down, genetically modified copy of the Indominus Rex, except they removed the T-Rex's DNA that they derived from a bone sample that they shaved off in the mosasaur paddock. The only thing that it was missing was it needed a mother, which is why they needed Blue. They needed to integrate Blue's DNA into the next Indoraptor that they planned on creating so it would follow orders and obey her commands. And basically, the Indoraptor was bred as a bioweapon for war. And that was until the creature breaks out of the cage and just starts like eating people left and right because the creature was so out of control. The Indoraptor, it was pretty cool. It was kind of scary, but Legendary needs to stop with the hybrids. I mean, there's millions of dinosaurs that they could pull up to use as a dino threat. The good news about the Indoraptor was parts of the creature was practical effects. Except the only practical parts that I saw from the behind-the-scene photos was the head and the hands, while the rest of the body are CGI. Now with Blue, you know how I mentioned in the previous video that I thought it was ridiculous they made the Velociraptors almost like the good... Well, this film explained why that is. I mean, these were newly bred Velociraptors, but Blue, they established her as a one-off. She was pretty much the only Velociraptor that displayed almost human intelligence, like obedience, sympathy, compliance, where all the other Velociraptors would attack anyone that displays weakness. Now, this was a concept that someone told me is from the book, where baby Velociraptors, they're very gentle, very playful. It's only when they grow up, it's best not to be in the same room with them. So I did like how they established Blue as a one-off, which kind of made Jurassic World make a little bit more sense. So, but still, no more good guy raptors. Please, enough of that. And plus, they did do a practical Blue. However, the one thing I don't like about some of the practical dinosaurs they bring back is I don't like how they make their eyes digitalized. And they show that with Blue, the Indoraptor, and the T-Rex. When the T-Rex opens her eyes and she's looking at Owen, she starts freaking out. Her eyes, they need to be digitized. And you know why that is? Because Stan Winston pulled off the shot of Lex shining the light in its eye, and her eye actually reacted to light. And that was practical. That wasn't CGI. But in this, they made it CGI. Why? I remember in theaters when you saw the Brachiosaur left behind on the island as the lava's coming in, and you watch the poor thing just end up being burned up. I remember in the theaters, that part really got to me. I mean, it was like, it almost made me cry, because it was this harmless creature that could think and feel, and it was brought back from extinction only just to go through that catastrophe again. And it was like, it's one of those moments where, yeah, if a little kid saw that, they would be upset, and they'd probably cry for a few days until they get over it. When the volcano explodes, the effects was really good. But then when you see like the lava, there were some aspects it did look like CGI. It didn't look as realistic as like the lava you would see in the movie Volcano or Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And of course when Owen was paralyzed by the tranquilizer that Whitley shot into him and just left him there, and he had to fight off the effects to get away from the lava, I was like, it was one of the other intense moments of the film. I was like, oh god. Now, I do like in this film when the volcano's blowing up and there's all this chaos going on. They do introduce other dinosaurs, the Carnosaur, the Carnotaur, I forgot which, the one with the horns that circles the gyrosphere and tries to eat Owen, but then ends up getting a timeout! They also bring in the Baryonyx, which a lot of people weren't too happy with the design of it, but actually I didn't have a problem with that. I thought the design of the creature was good, and along with the execution, especially when it's trying to eat Franklin. However, I think there was like one or two dinosaurs that looked kind of goofy looking, but above all, I had no problem with the design of the dinosaurs whatsoever. Also, I did love how this film, they actually have the balls to give this film a dark ending, which was the dinosaurs make it to the mainland. It was Claire that was going to set the dinosaurs free, but then she realized she would make things a hell of a lot worse if she lets them loose. Then Maisie sets them loose because she looks at them like they're living, breathing beings like she is. And when the dinosaurs roam free, that's when the world changes. Well, it's about damn time. I bet a lot of fans said that when they did that ending. Like, they were finally building up the Jurassic Park 4 fans wanted to see, which was the dinosaurs finally making it to the mainland, which technically in the book, some of them already did. Despite the fact the movie's really good, there's a couple points that make you go, what the hell is this? One of them is when Maisie's being chased by the Indoraptor. What 10-year-old in their right mind thinks that jumping onto a bed and hiding under the blankets is going to save you from a predator that's smarter than an average human? I mean, sometimes when I watch that part, it drives me nuts. So where do I rate Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom? Almost full price. Because this Jurassic Park, in my book, brought back the feel and the intensity and everything that made the first three films the best. Okay, it's not the greatest, but it's a lot better than Jurassic World. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, so I'm done reviewing Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and I'll be moving on to Dominion. Please subscribe, please leave a comment. I'm Owen H.
We've entered a new era. Welcome to Jurassic World.